Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way.
How's it going, guys? Public Safety Network here, going to put out a new video after about a month off. I took a little break, but now I'm kind of back and ready to start making videos again. And this is going to be the first one for the month. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you know when I put out a new video. Also, if you guys don't already, share my videos across all different platforms. The more platforms I get on, the more exposure I get, the more videos that I can make. Also, if you don't already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and like the Facebook page for more updates and different content. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Today we're going to be talking about contract versus proprietary security. What the differences are, some pros and cons to both, and some things to consider when deciding which one's going to fit best for you. So what is the difference? Well, first of all, contract security is a company that provides security services to other companies. So if I own company A and decide that I want to hire out a contract security company, I'm going to go to company B, C, D, however many I want to look at, and I'm going to accept bids for those contracts. And what a bid includes is companies will submit offers to the host company about what they're offering, such as what they're willing to provide, hourly guard rates, amount of guards, shift and scheduling, all of these little kind of, and put it into a package and then submit it to the possible client, and the client, based on whatever their criteria is, will go ahead and choose a company to provide their security services. Now, when security guards decide to do contract work, there's a few things to kind of consider when doing this, and some pros and cons. With contract security jobs, it's the most abundant of jobs. So if you're looking to work security, it's very easy to find contract security work. There are probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of security companies across the United States and even across the world that provide contract services. So there are jobs abundant with a lot of these companies. A lot of them are willing to take on entry-level guards who have no security experience, and some of them are even willing to provide the licensing needed in order to be a security guard in whatever state that you live in. However, there are a few cons to working contract security, and one is contract securities tend to pay lower, and that reason being is that it's almost like a middleman service. So when your company and the client's company negotiate a contract, they decide on a per guard hour rate, and what that means is that company B will charge company A, maybe $25 an hour per guard. So if there's 10 guards on shifts times 25, that's about $250 an hour that is being billed to the client. However, most companies, in order to save cost, will only give the guards a small percentage. Now, again, some companies are better than others. Some may offer, it may only be $8 or $9 an hour compared to what they're charging. Some companies tend to take care of their employees a little better, and it may be 15, 16, somewhere in that ballpark. So that is one of the downsides. Because of the lap between hours billed and guards pay, contract companies tend to pay lower. Again, also with benefits, the host company or the client's company does not provide any benefits to the employees. That is the responsibility of the contract company to do so. Unfortunately, in the security industry, contracts benefits are generally either non-existent or they're fairly substandard, and so that's one of the downsides to working in contract security. Now, besides from the downsides, there are a few upsides to it. Upside being that you tend to get a variety. Most companies who do contract work tend to have a variety of contracts. There are companies out there that do specialize in specific types of security, but most companies are going to take on a variety of contracts because obviously the more contracts they provide, the more money that they make. Again, you will find specialty companies here and there that may specialize in either things like government work, multi-housing, or whatever, but most companies are very general when providing security services. So you tend to get a variety of experience. One that can be a pro or con is a lot of contract companies will employ what's known as flex guards or on-call guards or rovers or whatever you want to call them. In a lot of cases, flex guards are paid a standard rate, which is generally a little bit more than your single post guard is going to get paid. usually to accommodate the fact that they're going to have to travel from different sites and things like that. However, one of the downsides that comes with being a flex guard is sometimes the company has it written that flex guards are paid the rate at which the site that they're providing security for. So if I work at one site that pays $9.20 an hour, and then I move to a site that pays $11.50 an hour, I'm going to get two different pay rates, and it makes getting paid a little bit more difficult because you're factoring in, possibly 5 or 6 different pay rates based on the sites that you worked. Contract companies also are not all the bottom of the barrel. And I mean, a lot of people like to throw that, say contract work sucks and this and that, and that they're all bottom of the barrel, they pay minimum wage. That's not necessarily true. There are a lot of higher end contract companies that do pay their employees very well. You're getting into like the $17, $18, $19 an hour ranges. However, because of this, most of those companies are going to have much higher standards than your lower ends of the industry. A lot of these companies like to hire former military, former law enforcement, or guys with years of experience in the industry. Experience is important in their line of work because a lot of times their clients have much higher expectations of what they want when it comes to security. Now, I'm not saying that every company out there like that is this top tier, get things done, but I mean, that's where you're going to find a lot of the upper echelons of the industry is these higher paying companies that have much higher expectations. To get into these upper echelon type jobs, again, you're going to probably need some type of specialized skill, specialized background, whether it's years in security, doing usually a lot of times whatever they're doing. So if they're providing government security, you may want a background in government security or something similar. Obviously, military and law enforcement are big pluses. They do like to hire former veterans. They like to hire veterans and former law enforcement. Because they tend to have a more stable work history, and a lot of times that shows that they have reliability because they have such a high level of responsibility. However, that is not to say that these companies are impossible to get in with, but again, because they have the higher standards, they tend to have a much higher expectation and requirements when just getting initially into the job. Now that's kind of enough about contract. We're going to move into proprietary. Now, what is proprietary security? Proprietary security is when a company houses its own security team. You see this a lot with government agencies, with hospitals, corporate offices, you name it. What they do is they hire their own security to work directly for the company. So if I am a proprietary security guard for company A, I work directly for company A, and I am not contracted out to other companies. A lot of the pros that come with proprietary are the opposite of the cons for contract. They tend to be better paying. Again, because they tend to have a little bit of higher standards when it comes to their hiring practices. They have better benefits because they have the same benefits across the board. So the security guard makes the same benefits as the guy who works in finance, is the same guy who works in HR, the same benefits that the manager gets. It's all the same, and so that tends to again have a much higher standard of hiring pool because they offer a lot of these benefits and perks that generally aren't offered by contract companies. Another thing that tends to be a little bit better with proprietary companies is that of training. Most states require that even proprietary security teams or departments that meet the minimum standard that they require of contract companies, but majority of times they just require them to have the documented training. They do not require them to hold a security license like contract companies do. With in-house security teams or proprietary security teams, the training tends to be a little better because most companies that elect to have in-house security tend to take it more seriously, and that's because it's obviously going to cost them more money to have an in-house security team versus a contract company. They're going to generally spend more on things like equipment, training, you name it. It tends to be better on the proprietary level. One of the downsides to proprietary security is the fact that there isn't really a safety net. And what I mean by that is if I work for a contract company and for some reason they lose the contract, they can always move me to another site. I can get posted at whatever number of sites, again, depending on how big the company is. With proprietary security, if the company itself goes out of business or that particular, maybe section gets shut down for whatever reason, there may not be a fallback plan, especially if that happens to be the only one in the area. But those are kind of the pros and cons of both. Things to consider that, contract work is good, especially when you're first getting into the industry and you have no experience. But a lot of people tend to move towards proprietary security as they get on with their experience, because they tend to have much more to offer these in-house security teams, and they want to move on to things like better pay and benefits. Real quick, as a side note, I forgot to mention also, one of the cons to proprietary security is that there's not as many jobs out there. Like I mentioned before, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of contract security companies, so there tend to be a lot more jobs. With proprietary, there tend to be a lot less jobs, and they tend to be a lot more selective, and so that can affect who's getting in and who's not. But that's all I really have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching the videos. I've seen a huge uptick in consistent views and people returning to watch more videos and commenting. I love when you guys comment and I try to get back to every single one who does comment on my videos, but I like the engagement, and it definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm and putting my videos towards more of the top of the page, getting myself more views. But again, I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has an awesome rest of the day, and I'll definitely update you guys when I plan on putting out another video.